We're back. Welcome. It's After Credits with me and my furry little buddy Dio. Say hi, Dio. And today we're going to talk about a movie I saw a couple days ago called Venom. The movie that I thought was going to be a colossal train wreck and now is seeming to get more box office than Justice League. It's on track to be on the same level as like Logan and X-Men 3, which is really, really weird. But what's also really, really weird is that I didn't hate this movie. This feels mostly like a nostalgia trip. A lot of people are talking about how this movie feels like a 2004 superhero movie, and to me the references I'm bringing to it are like Men in Black and Invader Zim and that Shadow the Hedgehog video game.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
When I was a kid learning storytelling, I knew that movies had plots, and I knew that the bad guys were usually corporate villains. If, like, Venom and Eddie were to meet each other, they wouldn't get along at first, but then they would get along later. And it kind of, like, I know what movies were made of, I just had no way in my childhood or in my early teens how to really construct that in a way that's satisfying or mature or flows well. And I feel like this movie's the same way. Now, you may consider that a patronizing take, but you know what? These people are professionals and they get paid hella more money than I will ever know in order to write this shit and sell it and act in it and produce it and direct it, Dio. That's right. It let me kind of tap into a more sophomoric side of my movie understanding when I used to fall in love with shit like, embarrassingly, the Ang Lee Hulk movie. My 10-year-old mind, I was thoroughly convinced, maybe to repress some trauma, that like, no, that movie wasn't bad, it was great, and then my friends would look at me because it was my birthday party and they're like, dude, there were giant Hulk poodles. Eddie Brock, played by Tom Hardy, he's a reporter who's investigating some shady corporate stuff. They're working with aliens and crash landings of spaceships and symbiotes and genetic editing, and of course one of the aliens gets on Eddie Brock, bam, gives him these brand new superpowers and this weird relationship. The symbiote's called Venom, and using Venom's help, Eddie investigates some more shady corporate nonsense. I don't really have too much to say because if you've seen the trailer, you can kind of just piece together how the movie's gonna go. The one specific thing that really is different in this one is just the tone. The turn the wind line was only the iceberg.
Only the iceberg.
And, oh, there's my wife coming home, so my cat left. Both my cats leave. It's definitely more of a comedy than a superhero movie. And that kind of goofiness was something that I wasn't necessarily anticipating. And I did laugh at this movie quite a bit, but I laughed with it too. There's something kind of, like I said, nostalgic and charming about Venom throwing out these obviously PG-13 rated insults. If we're going to talk about the things that are actually legitimately good in this, Tom Hardy kind of embracing the goofy tones of the movie and going into this kind of like vaudeville slapstick version of himself is really, really fun to watch, and especially when the CGI doesn't necessarily work all the time, you get a glimpse of like, oh my god, Sony really let Tom Hardy like move his arms and flail his head and do all these crazy facial expressions. Watching Tom Hardy act in this movie is a workout for myself, and I'm just fucking sitting down. This one feels a little bit more bogged down by what it owes to the superhero genre. All those origin story cliches and the bad guy, and you have to have the 30-minute long final act. I feel like that stuff is kind of crammed in here, where if you would have left this kind of like a, weirdly like a hangout movie, I don't know why, I feel like this movie would work in the same tone or stakes necessarily as something like the Fraction Hawkeye comics, which are kind of episodic, more vignettes. Everyone who's reviewing this, I echo their statements when they say that Tom Hardy and Venom are the best parts in the movie, because they do play off of each other, and it does feel like an old-school comedy duo, but they're tossed into this, you know, dark, edgy world. In a world where turds fly in the wind, this is Venom, 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 Venom. Side rant here. Whoever thought it was a good idea to toss Eminem's crap garbage song as the single for this movie instead of Run the Jewels' fucking amazing track that plays at the end, the second part of the end credits, is a fucking idiot. Guess I'm gonna go into some spoilers here, so if you don't want to know that, and just final thoughts, scores out of 6 stars, scroll to timecode here, otherwise let's just do it. There's the part that I didn't think was real until I actually saw it, when Venom kisses Eddie, and Michelle Williams, for the most part, is unfortunately kind of like a non-presence. She's just there to kind of discipline Eddie and say, like, you're making these mistakes and you don't take responsibility for your actions and da-da-da-da-da, which is one of the predictions we got right. And if you're here wondering what predictions we did or didn't get right from the worst predictions video, I'll talk about that in final thoughts. I was really hoping that they would have taken the opportunity to insert a scene with Venom and Michelle Williams. These kind of scenes in rom-coms, and this is kind of being joked about as a rom-com, where like the ex-girlfriend and the girlfriend, they talk about the guy and they talk about their experiences. And I thought it would have been a really funny twist to have Michelle Williams kind of like tossed in the Venom suit and she's having to like figure out these powers. And at the end of the movie she says she really enjoyed the power, which I think would have helped, you know, give her another energy. You know, she's the straight woman. She's the one who's trying to, you know, get Eddie to grow up in a sense. And to see her kind of like relish a little bit in the mania would have made for a fun character choice. It was really confusing to me that every time the drone blew up into a car, it was all blue flame. I don't know what kind of nitrous tanks you motherfuckers think you have in San Francisco, but I don't think it's that. Frankly, with Riot, a color change would have helped. I know Riot's supposed to be kind of gray, but the design was very much, you know, Transformers-esque in the fact that you only tell the difference by, like, the concept art. You can never really tell on screen because they're trying to go for this realistic world that was that kind of period between, you know, post-Batman and pre-Iron Man, when the world's trying to figure out, okay, how do we present superheroes in a way that's not necessarily, that's in our world, but it's still like a superhero movie. That balance hadn't been quite struck yet, and I feel like that's a problem with this movie too. But whenever you see Riot in gray and Venom in black at night, it's hard to make the two out, and you just don't care because you can't understand what the fuck's going on. Namesake of the show, after credits. Let's talk about the after credits scene, which is just abysmal. It's exactly what we predicted, exactly what the rumors were. Woody Harrelson as Carnage, but Woody Harrelson in, like, if he scalped Little Orphan Annie or Carrot Top, that wig is just Party City levels of atrocious. And whenever I was hearing him talk, I don't consider Woody Harrelson deranged. I mean, Woody Harrelson's got the little, like, smile and the crazy eye, but other than that, it just didn't work. Back to final thoughts. Just talked about Venom for a little bit. I don't really have too much to say. It's your basic 2004-esque superhero movie with a couple of nuggets of really good stuff. I could see if you take the bare bones of the script. The only problem is the execution's just not there. And the movie drags on for quite a bit. The movie avoids really good potential ideas that would fit. You know, for Venom 2, make it looser, make it goofier. Rely on your characters, rely on the actors you're able to pull in. And I think people would be just willing to kind of toss the plot to the side and really enjoy these fun characters doing fun shit. I guess I marginally recommend it. I'm going to go 3.5 out of 6. Rent it, get drunk with your friends, and have a little bit of fun. Other than that, you can... If this movie just looked like garbage from the beginning, then yeah, you probably already skipped it. I'm late. Fuck it. As far as the predictions we actually did get right for that video, we're pretty bad here. 6 out of 33, which floats to about a, like, 17-18%. I'll put up the actual score here. I don't know, I think Liam and I thought this movie was going to have a lot more going on than it actually really did. And so we just kind of tossed in as many ideas as we could, and our ideas were kind of shit the bed. So, not as good, but maybe we'll get lucky with something like, I don't know, Robin Hood, if that actually is coming out this year. If you like the rambling, thank you very much for sticking around. I know it's been a long time since I've done one of these. I miss the old format too. I miss hanging out with everybody in the car, and that's something we're just gonna try to work on, get better. I don't like saying, what movies we're gonna be doing next because I just genuinely don't know anymore. I'll tell you what movies I want to see. I want to see Halloween. I'm cautiously looking at the I was about to say the Thug movie, at The Hate U Give, because I didn't like the trailer at all. I thought it was super fucking schmaltzy. But people are saying it's really, really good. Like, Oscar levels of good. And I'm kind of just going, okay, well, maybe I'm seeing something they aren't, or maybe they're seeing something I'm not. I don't know. I'll probably end up checking out that movie. If I'm gonna check it out, it's gonna have to be later this week. Like, share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you thought about Venom. At this point, I'm opening up my comment sections to spoilers. It's been a couple weeks. Fuck it. Let's have fun. Thank you all very much for watching. Love you all. Take care. Bye.